like a switch.
It was a really, really good film,
Yeah.
and I couldn't recommend it enough to everyone.
Well, there's things on it that I think, and I think people should know. We're talking about Train Spotting, everybody, if you want to, if you know what we're talking about. But I think that the film itself does show the depths that people will go to, to get it, a hit. And as you're talking about coming off like an opioid, and using methadone, and that sort of doesn't really work. And I mean, it's apropos to the situation we're in America with this fentanyl fucking shit.
It does kind of work. It gets you not addicted to heroin, just gets you addicted to methadone instead.
Right.
I mean, the fastest way to cure an addiction is to introduce a new addiction. That's why they give you a coffee and a cigarette when you get to rehab.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But then again, that's one of those things, and it's smoking on its own is very freaking hard to quit. I mean, especially depending on when you pick it up. That's it's a thing that of course, it's interesting to me that people say nicotine is more addictive than cocaine or heroin. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
Sugar is more addictive than any of it.
I wouldn't imagine that's true. I wouldn't imagine that's true. But I mean, maybe that's because of the failure rate of people who try to quit smoking.
Right. But that's because it's a legal substance. We can
Yeah,
just
it's easy
go
to
to
get.
the gas station and get one if we want.
Right.
I mean, I've seen rehab through TV shows and stuff, and there's a lot of throwing up and shakes and stuff with heroin withdrawal. I've been
Yeah.
through nicotine withdrawal and caffeine withdrawal several times in my life, and it's not that bad. I mean, it's it's annoying and it sucks, but it's not as bad. You don't throw up, and there's no shakes with nicotine and caffeine withdrawal.
Well, I think like that with alcohol, with alcohol, sometimes if you're that and heroin, you have to come down in a certain way. I mean, I'm not an expert on this, so don't take anything I have to say seriously. But I think that there is a time where you're very at risk whenever you quit. If
Yeah,
you're
you
a
can die.
yeah, if you're a severe addict, and then you don't have monitoring on that, and you just decide that you're going to quit, then that is a problem. I mean, like in the movie, the Train Spotting movie, where he finds two Valium, but he can only take them in sort of a suppository form, and then he locks himself into the room thinking that okay, he's going to come down for 3 or 4 days, and then that's how he's going to come off heroin. And then he takes the Valium, and then 3 minutes later, he's got all the shit off the door, and he's like looking to score. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I mean that's the point of it. But again, if you're living that kind of a shitty life on a council estate with no real hope of getting a job or whatever, I mean, this is the thing. Like I said, I've known a ton of heroin addicts from the '80s. A lot of them are dead. Most of them are dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, people that were, a lot of people ended up being alcoholics. A lot of people ended up being paramilitary, terrorists and going to jail. I mean, hopefully, look, whenever the Good Friday Agreement came, they got out of jail. But we let a lot of people that were bad people out of jail. But anyway, enough said about that. Any other good movies you seen?
Nikki finally made me watch Don't Look Up,
Oh,
and that was a really good film.
that sounds
Accurate as well.
that sounds like another just downer movie.
It's completely what would happen in the event of a cataclysm that would destroy the planet. That movie was perfect in exactly how we'd react.
Yeah.
Any other movies apart from that? No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've seen if I liked anything. No, this week. Um,
I'm not a big movie watcher. I got into listening to Reddit stories read aloud on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, did find the old British series Uncle, and
Oh, that's great.
I find that interesting and funny. I don't know if you've seen that, Richard.
There's a cut-off point where I find British comedy not funny, and it's like before the 80s. Anything before the 80s, I just don't get it. Like Monty Python's Flying Circus, hate it.
Yeah.
Don't understand why it was vaunted at all. Doesn't make any sense. And everyone's like, oh, it's hit and miss. But it's all missed to me.
Right.
Wait,
but,
you said the 1980s?
yeah, Uncle is from the 2000. It's like 2013, and what it is, it's like this guy who was supposedly going to be like a like a big musical genius, and he writes songs and everything like that.
Well, I feel pretty stupid right now.
Why?
Well, I thought it was older than that. It sounded older than that.
No. It's check it out. It's an interesting film.
What about like Are You Being Served? Do you not find that funny?
No,
it's very dated.
What? I love Are You Being Served. To this day, I watch it and laugh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, no, I find it funny. I find it funny too but you know what I think is terrible? Did you see the one that was after that? That was like where they own a hotel. They leave Grace Brothers and they own a hotel. That's terrible. It was I can't even remember what that's called now. But there was a spin-off one after it that was just it was yeah.
I didn't even know there
was. It was like Porridge and the one that came after it.
Yeah. Well, but a lot of these things that you look at, you remember it being funny, and then it's just not funny now. Like I said, one of the things that I think was always funny to me and will always be funny is Dave Allen, and I don't know if you remember Dave Allen. His the Irish guy, and he would come and tell a few jokes and then do some skits. They were always funny, you know what I mean, because it was like a weird perspective. And he would talk about, Irish people being different. Obviously, it was one of those things where you were introducing, Irish people to, English people. But at the same time, he was mocking Irish people as well. I mean, because that's how you had to be funny back then, Because in my opinion, that's one of those things where the Irish folks, had that weird sort of stupid thing. It's like on Faulty Towers, where the Irish men come in and try to do the construction on the wall and can't do it.
Orally men.
The orally, yeah. O'Reilly.
Orally men. You are orally men.
But that's what I'm saying. That was the stereotype. They were a wee bit dodgy, don't know what they're doing, don't do it up to code or any kind of fashion, and then piss off, and that's the way it is. And that's the way it is. It's a minor thing, I don't think a lot of people got really too worked up about it, But that's what I'm saying. It's there was a time where definitely Irish people, especially in Britain, were thought of as the lesser people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Irish have joined the ranks of those that have been scapegoated.
Well, I think if you look up sort of ideas from even in America in the 1850s or something like that, they have Hiberno English people or Hiberno British people, and then they have like Norman Saxon people is how they describe it, and you can look it up, and it basically says that Irish people are like like one step up from Neanderthal. You know what I mean? That our heads.
Speaking of dumb Irish people, what are we talking about today on the show?
Well, I don't know this. I don't know.
I don't think we had a topic, did we? We were just gonna wing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I do have a story to tell, but I'll wait until we get.
Well, I think that the problem is that this Ukraine thing has become a huge you know, center of everybody's life. I mean, we could talk about that. It's depressing as fuck. I mean, it's like, everybody's at least everybody has not gotten to the fact where they're like fighting about it yet. You know what I mean? We're
You
not
know, what
fighting.
Facebook do you have? Everyone's fighting it on mine.
Really?
I've got Americans
Oh
that are
yeah,
pro Putin, Americans that
yeah.
aren't, arguing with each other. Carol
Pro-
Davidson, someone I expected to be pro Putin because, well, many reasons, is, against him. But one of her Facebook friends is very pro Putin, and they've been fighting.
Yeah. Well, I don't see. I mean, from a logical standpoint, and somebody's going to say this that I'm an asshole for saying this. I don't know how you could be pro Putin. I don't know how you could be.
Well, apparently he's going to take down the New World Order.
Well, yeah, that's fine. By what? Invading all the fucking countries that don't want. Like I was saying, you can't just, you know, you can't. This is if you look at. I mean, and I'll just say this, and people won't care, or they'll get mad at me for saying it. If you look at the war crimes that people were convicted of at the Nuremberg trials, he fits the bill. That's all I'm saying. But the problem is that we will never get a hold of Putin. You know what I mean? We won't get a hold of Putin for having a war of aggression and all these different things and displacing people and targeting civilians and everything like that, which he's all doing. Okay. But we'll never catch him get away with it. And so this is the thing. And to think that a billionaire oligarch is going to invade other countries to stop the New World Order is just absolutely crazy. Why would a billionaire do that? A billionaire is part of the New World Order. I don't understand why people don't get that. But anyway.
Because they're stupid.
Well,
They read these fake news websites and they're like, oh, this is totally factual. I mean, for fuck's sake, Kevin, people believe in QAnon, which is trailer park Scientology, if I've ever seen it.
right.
Scientology, there's another thing people believe in. Christianity, the Bible is filled with bloody inconsistencies, but people still buy it.
Right.
I mean, when you're like, oh, people are stupid. Yeah, they are stupid, and they'll believe the last. There are some people that will believe the last person that talked to them.
Well, the thing that I'll say about it is this. Obviously in the Bigfoot world, and I've said this before, we tend to believe conspiracies because of the fact that we are trying to say that something exists that everybody says doesn't exist. So we have to be conspiratorial about it. Now the problem is that whenever you start hanging on to everything that comes down the road, even if it doesn't make sense. But the issue is that you do. I mean, and people will say I'm nuts for this, but Sputnik News and RT, which stands for Russia Today, again, puts all these stories out that are pro propaganda. And that's the thing about it. They've got a huge propaganda wing in Russia. People share it. They don't realize what they're doing, and so therefore they become part of it. But again, this is just what it is. I mean, people again, people say, "Oh well, people at the Capitol were just it's just I'm an accidental tourist," and then sort of the first guy from the Oath Keepers this week pled guilty to sedition. You know what I mean? So it's not that. It's clearly not what you say it is. And yet that's how everybody talks about it and said, oh, well, it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, it was a big deal. It is a big deal if people are plotting to overthrow the government. That's a big deal. Sorry.
Were they plotting or were they just morons?
Well, they plotted and they were they weren't effective.
They plotted and they were moronic about it.
Yeah, exactly. So again,
it was a moron plot.
Well, no, I mean
it was absolutely not foolproof.
If the problem with all these things are, again, and I'll go back to an example of that. In a few years ago, I think probably 5-6 years ago, a group of individuals have invaded the Malheur Wildlife Park in Oregon, right? And this group of people who were doing this were saying that obviously there's no federal government can't have anything. They can't own land, willy nilly in the West. Right? They say constitutionally that's wrong. So therefore, that land belongs to the county. So they took over the area and then renamed this national park. Um, uh, whatever it was, county ground. The problem with all that is, again, if you take a gun into federal property and use it, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Just don't do that. Don't go onto federal anything into a building and try to take it over. That you're screwed. And so therefore the FBI gets involved with it and all these different things. And all these militias were going to show up, the Idaho 3%ers, the Oath Keepers and all this. They were all going to fight it out against the government and everything like that. So then the government says, whenever they surround the place, you've got 24 hours to get out of here and we won't kill you, basically, because we're going to storm the joint. So everybody leaves, everybody, all the Oath Keepers, 3%ers, all those guys just turn tail and absolutely freaking run. It's the most embarrassing thing you could ever see if you're in the militia and everything like that, because it was totally pointless. And then 4 people stay. They hold out for about 5 days or something, 5 days, 10 days or something like that. Then they finally give up on the last day, and that's it over with. But but what I'm saying is that all these groups, for all that time, all these groups were saying, I'm sending these, we're all coming. They were all going to do everything. They were all doing it. They all couldn't get anybody to do it, So the problem is that a lot of this thing is talk. They talk about doing it, and then you get a small amount of people who do it. They have no support, and then they end up turning on each other. It's like, these people will all turn on each other, even though they've probably signed an oath not to do it, but they will turn on each other faster than shit, so that because the first people who turn get the best deals. So there's probably a freaking bum rush to say this guy did this and this guy did that, just like the other guy who pled guilty and is turning on the leader of the thing. He pled guilty and he's hoping that he's going to get a lighter sentence because he's basically going to rat everybody out, and that's the way it goes. So
Yep.
that's how pathetic it is. That's all I got to say about that. And everybody always thinks, oh, that isn't going to happen, But it's there. You got to say nothing. That's how it is.
SoFlo likes the Beatles, Monty Python, and me. Thank you, SoFlo.
Well, that makes one of us that like you.
Yeah, we all like you. What do you mean?
Oh, thank you, guys. You guys.
Well,
are
if
the
we
best.
didn't like you, why would we be here?
I said that makes one of us, but you're welcome, I guess.
Yeah, I just zone you out. I mean, you're just white noise to me. Let's see. Gabby said a lot. I don't know.
Well, I probably pissed a lot of people. You realize it's just my opinion. I'm not an expert on this shit. You know what I mean? I'm just not.
No, Gabby says you're not wrong about what you're talking about.
Well,
so
but I'm saying
I have to assume, since Gabby's in your corner, that you are completely wrong about everything you're saying.
yeah. Well,
You're
that's
going absolutely insane, my man.
well. I look at it like this. I have a unique perspective on it because I grew up in a place where people hated you. I mean, when I came out of the womb, and was christened a Presbyterian, that meant 50% of the people in the country absolutely fucking hated me. You know what I mean? And 50% hated me. 10% wanted to kill me because I was of that religion. That's the cross I bore whenever I was a kid. And then I grew up thinking that those people sucked. And then I got older and figured out there's nothing wrong with those people. They have a right to live. They don't have a tail. They don't have horns, and you get on and you think, okay, why can't we get along? But that's me. So I just look at things from the standpoint of, those.
Because that person doesn't believe the same thing you do, and the specifics are wrong. That's why you can't be friends.
Well, yeah, I mean, I look at it from that standpoint here, but it's always, to be honest with you, and I will say this, it's easier to be friends with a person who was violent and now isn't than it is than people who are ideologues. You know what I mean? Like I can talk to an IRA guy or whatever, knowing that he's done bad things, and let's say empathize with him. Empathize with how that goes. So
SoFlo says Bigfoot is a hoax. Is that our Tom in the chat?
Yes.
This motherfucker. Let me tell you a story about him, ladies and gentlemen. So he messages me yesterday and he's like, "Are you all set for the podcast tomorrow night?" And I'm like, I didn't even respond. And he was like, "Well, I can't make it anyway." And I'm like, well, what was the point in asking? If you can't help me.
He was just trying to let you know that he couldn't do it.
Well, you should have led with that. Don't be like, "Oh, do you need me tomorrow night? Because I can't make it, you loser." And then flip me the blurred.
I really doubt that's what happened.
Nikki, what happened?
Screenshot.
That is exactly okay. Hold up.
Lift you the bird.
I got this because I fussed at him about being a dick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you bastard.
No, she fussed at me for being a dick. Not
Oh.
Tom.
Yeah, not Tom. I would never I would never.
She would never, Kevin.
I would never.
I have known her for 20 years. She is my oldest friend, but she's going to take the side of this militant vegan in the chat.
Well, all I'm saying is that, from that standpoint, he's trying to support that. He's trying to support it by being on the thing. Like I said,
But he couldn't make it.
Right, but that means he can't talk. There's a difference between being in the chat and being able to talk. You know that. He can be in the chat. Like what I'm saying is he could be at a film right now watching some stupid soppy film.
This was meant to be a bit, but now you're like giving me jip. I'm taking it seriously. This was supposed to be a funny little bit, but now I'm like defending my corner vehemently.
No. Here's the thing. You didn't say that. I'm just reacting like I would. Like I've had a weird week. I'm gonna say I've had a weird week.
Why did you send me that, Nikki?
Just to prove that I proved that is what happens.
So
I can see the chat myself. We're in the same
good for you.
Discord group.
I understand. I was there. I didn't know if you wanted to toss it up or not. Damn.
We're in the same group, you
I
Benny.
know. I didn't know if you wanted to toss it up since I had it. You're so dumb.
I'm dumb. I'm the one that sent you a copy of a chat that you're in.
I get that, but I sent it to you in case you wanted to put it on the show.
Because I didn't know how to work out how to do that from a chat.
You could have screen shared as well. I didn't know if you wanted everybody to know your Discord name, like in the thing that's on the bottom left. Go fuck yourself.
The link to our Discord group is in the description for this video. No one wants to join it. So.
Are you sure you want to come visit us, Kevin?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
'Cause this is what it's like.
I think.
Okay, chat. So here we go. This is what was said. Hey guys. Oh, she didn't even screenshot the comment we're talking about properly.
Yes, I just didn't take it's the whole thing. It says, "Hey guys."
Are you all set? You've got my Discord name in there, so how is this
Yes, it is.
protecting my?
No, because your Discord name. No, listen. At the bottom of your Discord, if you look, you will see that name and then the actual number after it. So there might be a bajillion people by that name. Is my name Nikita Banana on there? No.
I could have screenshotted it myself, but you're wrong and you're silly. Anyway, so hey guys, are you all set for the podcast tomorrow? I can't do it as school reports are on the go right now. Not that you asked. That's what he said. And
Okay,
now
he said that in the same sentence.
Yeah, exactly. What
So,
a dick.
What?
Thank you for agreeing with me, Kevin.
I think. Oh my God, it's like a yes. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. All right, yeah, I see it. I'm seeing it directly from your standpoint, Richard. I agree with you. Fuck
Thank
Tom.
you.
You know,
Thanks.
What?
Fuck
No.
you know, there's no way
You know what,
anybody.
Kevin, no, you go over there and fuck him yourself. You
Well,
would.
I look at it like this: the guy didn't show enough deference to Richard. Richard, at this point in time, deserves, like like some sort of a, like whenever, have you ever watched those movies where people like crawl in on the ground and they don't even look up and then they address the monarch? That's where we're at. We are.
To be honest, I'm over the bit now, Kevin. I'm over the little funny bit.
Are we stopping?
Yeah, I'm now just completely obsessed with the fact that Niki sent me a screenshot of a chat that I'm in.
All right, I'm clearly behind on the timing.
It's okay, man. It's all right. It's all right.
All right. So Niki,
I appreciate you, Kevin.
You sent him a screenshot, and then that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, wasn't it interesting though?
Yeah,
I don't know. Weird thing to obsess over.
Okay, Tom's like, thanks, Niki. I know who my real friends are. Okay.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's me.
Absolutely. It's you. I'm the idiot in this situation.
Well,
I sent Niki a screenshot of a chat that she's in because I'm dumb.
Well, I know one thing. I'm just subservient. I am, obviously, I'm like Griever Wormtongue and the Lord of the Rings. I just spit poison into your ear.
Oh, that's a movie I've seen recently that I enjoyed. The Hobbit. I had never watched them before.
Really? Was it any good?
Yes, I hate the Lord of the Rings. I will start by saying I hate the Lord of the Rings, but I adore Aidan Turner and a certain other person. Dang it, his name just left me because Richard's
Martin Freeman.
Yeah, Martin Freeman's in it, and I adore him too.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That was exactly my reaction, Kevin.
I mean, he's okay. I mean, what's some of the movies he's good in? Like I said, he's good. He's all right.
Does he always plays the same character?
Well, yeah, because that's what he's good at. He's stereotyped into it. He can't do anything else.
My friend said, she said it right. She was like, he looks like the divorced history teacher I would have fantasies about in high school.
Right.
That's basically what he looks like. And I agree. But also, I have a huge crush on Bilbo, as a character. But anyway, watched it primarily
what I'm saying is
Aidan Turner. The movies
he was a divorced history teacher in high school, what he should do is move up to community college level, because then all the girls are legal.
The movies are good, and you should watch them. As someone who does not like Lord of the Rings, the movies are good.
Do you know why the movies are good? Because The Hobbit is 290 pages long, whereas the Lord of the Rings books are masterpiece, like over 1,000 pages
so
long.
Boring.
They're not boring. It's a great book.
So absolutely boring.
It's a great book.
I had someone tell me, his name was Doug, we got into an argument over my not liking Lord of the Rings. And
The movies or the book?
I didn't like the movies, and he said, "Oh, you should read the book." And I said, "Oh, is there as much walking in the book?" And he goes, "There's more." And I
There's
said,
even more walking in the
"Absolutely
book.
not.
But there's
No,
ponies and all sorts. It's
I
great
don't
Right.
book.
give a
But
shit.
Great books.
Boring as
J.R.R.
hell."
Tolkien was using these books to get over his PTSD from seeing the grinder of the First World War. And that's the thing that, he was a
Okay,
vet.
now see, knowing that, I might be able to go back and watch them with a
Right.
bit of appreciation,
But,
But the
understanding the
movies are
creation of
shit. The
them.
book's good.
I
yeah.
refused to read the damn book. I hated the movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I
know
can
you
say that.
can't
I
read.
can say that because, like, Girl Interrupted the movie. Absolutely hate it. I have friends who love it. It's absolutely nothing at all like the book. There's hardly any similarities between the book and the movie,
Yeah,
and
no.
it
No, I
ticks me
agree.
off. But
Like a
so I
dog's
get that. I
purpose.
get that I could hate a movie and absolutely love the book. But usually, if you hate a movie, you're not really gonna like the book so much.
All right.
If you can't even appreciate the prefabricated shit that they throw in there to make it cinema magic or whatever, then you're probably not gonna appreciate. Like, I didn't even appreciate the storyline. How am I gonna appreciate the book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just gonna block someone in the chat there. That
Why?
is not an appropriate name.
Did they call you a bellend or something?
Uh,
No, their username was not appropriate.
Oh. Well, I did watch, and now that we're talking about that, I watched the documentary on Gary Newman this week,
oh,
who I love. And, he's got a new album. It's kind of a thing where he talks about obviously he's got mental illness. You know what I mean?
right.
And so he talks about coming, getting with cars and our friends electric and things like that back in the 80s, and he became so huge so fast, and then he sort of disappeared into nothing because he
Mhm.
sort of imploded. And his ability to get on stage and do things and everything like that. I mean, sounds like to me it's just a struggle for him. And then he met this lady that totally supports him, and she's been married to her for 30 years and all that. Have 3 children. He moved to America, and now he's got a new album that everybody seems to like, and he's
Cool.
on tour. But it does talk about the bad times, and basically what it sounds like is for the most of the time he blew all the money, didn't have a pot to piss in, and
Wow.
uh, and a lot of that had to do. It doesn't sound like he was like a drinker or a drug addict or anything like that. It just sounded to me like he was always trying to overproduce the show. In other words, every time he would perform live, he would actually lose money,
Hmm.
but he was trying to make it into this sort of electronic, hyper world. And, anyway, and he talks about how, he was hated in the press, and, and all these different things. It's an interesting film if you like the guy. And if you like, Gary Newman, he is touring around the United States, soon. I'm gonna see him in next month, the
I
end of
like
this
it.
month.
I like documentaries like that.
Yeah,
I just got finished watching one on the Beatles secretary called Good Old Frida, and
right.
that was actually really good. And there's one on Brian Wilson that I want to watch. He's the guy that wrote the songs for the Beach Boys, and he was in the Beach Boys, and
Became he,
he
be- he became hugely depressed, didn't he? I
oh,
mean,
he had psychological problems. I think like bipolar or something like that. And he didn't even like surfing or cars, but he knew that that's what was asked for of the time, and so he wrote about surfing and cars.
right. And
But
and
yeah,
you know,
it's supposed to be really, really good because this is what we talk about in the OR. Just
right.
we're always
Interest,
listening to music and dropping little tidbits of knowledge.
yeah, interestingly enough, Charles Manson and the family lived on Brian Wilson's property for a while because
Yep.
somebody had told him that Manson was trying to create a record, and he did create a single, and and Brian Wilson rejected it, and then there was a big argument between Brian Wilson and Charles Manson and the family, and they ended up obviously leaving to go to the other thing. But I think part of the thing about it is that whenever Sharon Tate got murdered, I think that there was something about one of the people that he had a beef with used to live there before Tate had rented the place. So whenever he sends those people down there to sort of terrorize them, it was like those people were just sort of innocent bystanders in a way. But but it was terrible what happened to them people. I can't even imagine it.
Terrible. We're not fans of that. Okay, so this is a pretty dead zone right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell my story.
Well, tell your
do it.
story.
So I went rowing today, as I often do on Saturdays, and I'm a member of the rowing club. It's a group of lads and lasses, and we get together and we row across the Solway, over to Scotland and back fairly regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Today was very choppy. It was not a good day to row at all. We almost capsized like 3 times. And anyway, there was a new member of the old rowing club today. A conventionally attractive woman, early 30s. And she said hey to me, and apparently that means she's into me.
Who defined that? Who said that?
My
First of
brother.
all, where's she from?
She's from this area, I guess, Cumbria.
She's from Northern England,
Yeah.
and she said hey to you.
Just said hi.
Hi,
Said I'm whatever her name was, and we shook hands.
right?
And that was it. And apparently she wants to marry me and date me.
Well, she probably wouldn't mind her going for a pint with you. I mean, start off small is what I'm saying. Maybe not just to propose right off the bat. But
It's
I would
just-
imagine. Now, did she do that with everybody else or just you?
A few people. The main reason he thought that was because she didn't say hi to him.
Oh, so he was a wee bit jealous because this this woman.
Well, he's a bit of an incel.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, these things happen. I mean, like I ride sort of a custom motorcycle, and so sometimes I'll go to certain places and people will talk to me about my motorbike, and then they'll show me their bike and all that stuff, and sometimes you get into the thing and you think, okay, well, this person's talking to you about that, but she's talking to me about my motorcycle. You know what I mean? She's not into me. You know what I mean? She likes my creative ideas whenever it comes to the motorbike, and how I changed it and everything like that, because it's a funny thing. I took an American bike, a Harley Davidson, and made it look very English, cafe racer style. And that's an oddity. You know what I mean? It's a big American motor and a fast, sleek, trimmed down body. And, people like it. They like to talk about it. But that doesn't mean anything, But maybe she's trying to be friendly. But at that point in time, Richard, why wouldn't if did you like her? Did you think she was all right?
I think it's more the fact that because she said hey to me, I
Right,
find it funny. My brother thinks that she's into me.
right,
He said she was conventionally attractive.
right.
So are you talking about like she's tall and skinny and
She is a bit on the skinny side, yeah.
so he finds her attractive, but she could gain about 20 pounds.
She's a project. She's the kind of girl you go out with, and then when she moves in, you switch everything to high fat content.
Well, I look at, you know, you've got to realize that, men especially do that. Whenever men have the single body, and then they have the I'm happy in a relationship body, and I think that that's maybe what would happen there. I think it would all even out. You know what I mean? Would all even out. Eventually, she's gonna thicken up. If that's her metabolism, she's gonna thicken up.
But I'm not a fan of the skinny women. If that's your body type, I support you in your right to look like that. I'm just saying, for me personally, not attracted at all to skinny women.
Well, I think that's okay. I mean, that's okay to say it. Is what you find attractive is what you find attractive. You're not saying anything against her. She's entitled to
No,
look like whatever she wants to.
exactly. Yeah, I feel like that's a Maya.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
if we're going
but
to
the whole point of me telling this story was, because she said hello,
yes,
that automatic in his mind that means she's into me.
yes. Is it me you're looking for?
Oh, jeez.
I can see it in your eyes.
This
I,
is happening, Nikki.
I can see it in your rowboat. You're everything I wanted. Row me to Scotland. There you go. So, when you're rowing, do you use two hands, or are you like on one side? Like, is it like Roman trireme, or is it like you're rowing with two hands? How does it
It's
work?
two-handed rowing. It's a little rowboat for 5 people, including the cocks.
Right. And so, do you have more than one boat, or is it just the one boat?
Just the one boat.
So you were in there, and she was rowing with you.
She wasn't in the first group. I think she got into the second because me and like a couple of others, we were the canaries because it was really choppy out there today, and they wanted to see if it was actually safe to row, and so we got back alive. So they were like, "Oh, okay, we can row today."
Well, we can do it now, and you
Yeah,
didn't, and you didn't sort of like puff yourself up and say, "See what I just did? I was out there. I was out there, baby. You know what I mean? I'm sexy. I was out there in the boat."
apparently I'm not getting your reference, but yeah. So that was my Saturday. Apparently, a girl is into me because she said, "Hey."
Well, you know how
It's
the
it's
sluts are.
it's better than they're not saying hey. I will say
What?
that. As far as I was saying about it, Richard, I think you should just
I think you
develop
should
it.
totally hit that.
I think you should hit that.
I don't really see it as an option, but thanks. I'm not. I'm not like Casanova or nothing. But yeah. The reason she didn't say hey to him is probably because he stands off to the side with his arms crossed, glaring at everyone. That's probably why he didn't get hello.
Gabby says you should hit it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it's not an option. Do you think she's too pretty for you? Because you need to have confidence.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. What I'm saying about that is, and Nikki might know this. If you're very, very pretty, you actually get asked out less than.
Yeah, I know, jerk syndrome.
Yeah,
But no, she's not my kind of girl. I like them like I like my trifields, jiggly and full of juice.
yeah. He likes big butts, and he cannot lie. Richard can't deny.
Yeah,
Girl walks in with an itty bitty waist, right thing in your face. Richard gets
I
sprung.
do like bigger girls. Not going to lie about it.
Yeah, big. So
But to me, it's not even about that. It's more the fact that apparently she's into me because she said hi.
well, like I said, everything starts somewhere, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way.
She could be at home right now,
Yeah,
just flicking the bean.
Right. Rubbing it out.
Thinking of you.
Right. She could be at home listening to your sexy voice
She
on the
could be
podcast.
playing DJ Diddles.
Yeah, she's probably listening right now to this podcast and thinking, "Oh man, do I want some of that?"
I sincerely doubt that, but thank you for the compliment.
Well, maybe you should give her the URL and say, "Hey, listen, you know, I talked about you last week, and I find you sexy, but you need that a wee bit of plan. You need to eat some trifles, you know."
I'll make them for you. They're not going to look
Exactly.
pretty, but they'll taste like heaven.
Right. Well, everybody likes a trifle. That's all.
I have a specific woman in mind at the moment that I want to be with.
Oh well, see, you
So,
didn't say that. You think that's where
so
you should have led with that. You should have led with that. This girl came up and said hi, and my brother thought she was into me, but that's funny. Hey, he's an idiot.
I did. I tried. I was pretty specific about the fact that I wasn't into this woman at all. So even if she's into me, it doesn't make any difference. That the whole point of this story was because my brother thought she was into me because she said hi.
Right, but I'm just saying this. If you have another, if you're single, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, this is my perspective. If you're single and a girl who's not the absolute end all be all says hi, sometimes you can swing yourself around to that. You know what I mean? You can turn the boat around to get into that girl because she's that. But if you've got someone else in mind, then that's that puts the tin hat on it. That's the way I look at it. You know, if you're single, sometimes you can swerve yourself and into saying, okay, I'm going to give it a try and we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, Richard. So the fact that you're not available is the part of the story. You're not emotionally available. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that was my story.
I'm sorry I went all freaking Dr. Phil on it.
Like,
Yeah.
listen, I think, okay. So, like, we get the point of the story, and I'm sorry that we didn't
Yeah.
laugh and instead decided to, analyze your love life.
Right. I thought maybe that's what we wanted.
No, absolutely not. He wanted us to laugh about incels. And here's the thing, incels are absolutely like that. You say hi to them, and then suddenly you're sending them signals.
Right.
And if you turn them down, the nicest thing they're going to do is call you horrible names and walk away.
Right.
And then the worst thing they're going to do to you is fucking kill you.
Okay, well I have a theory on that. Now listen, because like if you ever listen to love songs from the 80s, they're very freaking creepy. You know what I mean? I mean, they all have this stalker effect to it. And it sounds like that's what these people are in a way. They're like borderline stalkers. So
What,
it,
incel? Yeah, of
yeah,
course that's stalkers.
yeah,
That's a prerequisite for being an incel.
right. But I'm saying that you can find references to that. I mean, if you know, like every breath you take, every move you make, I'm gonna be watching you. How creepy is that song? You know what I mean? By the
Mhm.
by the
I guess
police.
worse than that, movies as well, like Revenge of the Nerds. I thought that was hilarious when I was a kid. Now it's just like, oh god,
Oh
that's not
my
right at
god.
all.
Yeah. No,
That's not right at all.
The pickup
absolutely.
artist is like that too. Almost
Yeah.
any romantic movie that Robert Downey Jr. has been in is like that. The pickup artist, only you, like basically he sees a girl and he's like, ah, she's pretty. And then he just literally chases her through the
Until
world
she gets
in one of
Stockholm
them.
syndrome.
Yeah, basically. And it's just like, oh, I love you too.
Yeah.
It's not right at all. Like,
Yeah, it's like I said, those movies were very very strange back then. Like love movies and love songs were very very creepy, and it wasn't like actual love. You know what I mean? It was like obsession. You know,
Mhm.
and in that case, obsession. That song by Adam, who sang that? Adam, was somebody like that, but like, come out and say it. Who do you want me to be to make you sleep with me? I think that was the most honest lyric of the 80s.
Yeah, I love that lyric.
Yeah. Because I mean, at that point in time, you're just laying it on the line and you're just being honest about it. You know, even though it's creepy that he's willing to change or she's willing to change who she is to sleep with the dude.
Well, I mean, but people do that all the time if they're
No,
on the prowl.
I understand that. I mean, it's. I mean,
It's
I
not
don't take.
creepy. I mean, if you have a one night stand and that's what you wanted and that's what the other person wanted, you haven't hurt anybody
No, I
by
believe me.
pretending to like the opera or some shit.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into my past, but I agree with you. I mean, don't worry, I'm totally into what you're saying, but and you do sort of role. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You do sort of role play in that matter, where you're like, this is a scenario, and you're going to go with it because that's what you think they like, and they like you, and you don't really know who that person is, but you have sex with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's fine because you are fulfilling a fantasy, really, and that's what it is. Anyway, Richard's not going to have a one night stand with the boat lady. Apparently,
He should though. And then secretly videotape it.
oh no, you can't pull the Dennis Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
We can't.
But he should do it anyway, and then he can let me live vicariously through him by telling me every detail.
Yeah, no, I don't think. Some of the things are funny. That's a funny thing about It's Always Sunny. If you like Always Sunny, and now like some of the episodes are gone. You can't even watch them anymore.
Yeah.
Took them down because they were inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that show could be painful.
Well, but I think that they're saying
the Dennis method for getting women.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that it's total sarcasm. And
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know it
understand
is.
how people don't get that.
Yeah, it's not serious. Yeah, but it's still some of them are just like, whew.
Can be
Yeah, like a bit much. Like even the pilot episode, man, cringy.
Yeah, cringeworthy. But
So cringy.
But at the same time, unfortunately, we all know people like that. You know what I mean? We all know situations or have conversations that turn on a dime like that, and they're weird like that. I mean, maybe not to that extent. I mean, like
No, I've had some really weird conversations similar to that extent.
My fake dad has not showed up and then wants to have a glory hole or something like that.
Right.
But I'm just saying there are weird things in life that happen, and that's it. It was funny that the thing that they really wanted to take down was the episode that the episodes where they did the Lethal Weapon 5 and 6 and all those different things, and those were the ones that were taken down, and that was strange to me. But anyway, because we talked about that last week with the blackface and Robert Downey Jr. In Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, nobody really cared, but whenever it was, and even in even in the episodes where they were in blackface, trying to play Murtaugh and then switched it, they made the comment about being in blackface. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, enough about that.
Richard has been watching trash TV with me all week.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Absolute garbage TV. We've been watching I Love a Mama's Boy. It's a TLC show, if that tells you anything. And it's about women who are navigating their lives with these heinous, could be mother-in-laws later.
Wow. So is it more like the mother-in-law from hell, or is it that these boys are just so wrapped up into their mom that they can't make a decision without the mom telling
both yeah, Yeah, like one of them gets a weekly manicure and pedicure with his mom, and every night before bed, they drink sleepy time tea and watch a movie together. And like he ended up buying his girlfriend some lingerie. He had his mom with him, was going to buy his girlfriend a robe um to go with the lingerie, and his mom goes, "Oh, that's pretty." So he bought his mom the same robe.
Oh my God.
Um And then after giving it to her, he wouldn't go up to the room with her. He was like, "Oh no, me and mom need to finish watching the show we were watching last night."
Or maybe he's gay and he's afraid to have sex.
That one in
Yes,
particular, I'm
that
so
one is
happy.
clearly
That
gay.
one in particular is incredibly gay, but no, like all of the guys are bad to an extent, like holding hands with their moms, like just
I mean,
guys.
I felt better when I found out it was completely fake.
It's not completely fake.
It is obviously completely fake.
He says that because he was having a really hard time letting it go.
I
He's
was still
texting me.
watching it after I came to that conclusion, but it is
Yes.
obviously fake.
I don't know why you say that. Remember that what was that British show where like there was that really I can't remember his name. There was definitely mummies boys and British comedy like Dad's Army and Pike
Mm,
and those different things like that. I mean it's just I mean that's sort of a I don't know.
a trope.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing because, at a lot of times, like I'll just say this. My uncle lived with my gran until basically she died, and he was a single man and everything like that. And so, a lot of people assumed he was gay. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just more, he never, I mean, it was hard. I didn't really understand how it wasn't, he didn't seem to have a girlfriend or anything like that. But in the end, he did get married and married a beautiful wee girl, and so it's that's how he ended it. But at a certain point in time, you do, and I think this is funny. Since culturally speaking, depending on what culture you're from, that's what it is. You're um, you end up looking after your mom. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, is it possible that he was a mama's boy and the reason why he got married late in life was probably, I'm assuming, after she passed away,
Yeah,
correct?
pretty close. Yeah.
So he found someone else to mother him.
Yeah, maybe. You're
I
right.
mean,
You're
you
right
know,
because in a lot of ways, he wasn't very. I mean, at certain points in time, he had a very idealistic view of the world, and that's fine because he did do good things. You know what I mean? He did.
mhm,
He did really do good things, but I mean, a lot of people were sort of suspicious about it. That's all I can say. You know,
right.
I obviously never. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered to me one way or the other. In the end, but. Because I'm open to that. You know, but anyway, Richard is again. I think he's falling asleep.
No,
Probably.
I'm wide awake. I'm listening to you two talk. I've already ventured my opinion.
And why do you think it's fake then? Why would
Uh,
how would you come up?
because there was some opinions that just radically changed. Like one of the mothers was an absolute mega bitch last season, but this season she's coming across very reasonable.
No,
And the
she has
girlfriend
not. There was a fight like
and
as
the
soon as
and the girlfriend is the one being unreasonable.
Yeah, but do you
Uh,
not think that these people watch the show and see how they're being being portrayed? I mean, and I know if you've ever been anywhere close to a television show that they will cut it and they will make you look like whatever they want to make you look like,
absolutely.
you know? And so, you can be the smartest guy in the world, and next thing you know, you're falling into a river and all that stuff, and you know, and you look like an idiot all the time. It's not that hard to do. I mean, all you have to do is just keep on going. But you know, in a reality TV show, they look for certain characters and cut you and your mom or whoever it is to fill that fill that thing. And maybe the mom looked at it and said, I look like a fucking, you know, I'm not even, either I'm not doing it because these people are not getting paid a lot of money. I think
Right.
that's the other thing that you realize, that, you know, sometimes people who are on these shows, even like Bigfoot shows and stuff like that, they're not making the money you think they are. I can tell you that. I mean, they're not making it, you know, they're just not making the money you think that they're making. And so it's you know, you just have to just realize that you know, that's a tough, it's a tough way to go. You're not, if you're on a reality TV show, you're not going to be rich at the end of it, and you have to
No.
wonder if it's worth it.
You're going to be lucky if you break even on a reality TV show.
Well,
They get paid very little.
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of these people gets paid scale. If you look up what scale is, and that's what you get paid, it's not a lot of money. And then, you know, obviously, if you win if you win the show, then you get, you know, your 100 grand or whatever it is. So
If you get that. And another reason I think it's fake is because a couple of the couples, they don't actually show anything about their lives on their social media. They just promote the show.
They
Mm.
might be deeply like private people though. Besides,
Well,
yes, they went
yeah,
on the
because
show. Not
deeply
really. You're
private
right. You're right. You're
people.
right. You're right. I heard it as it came out.
deeply
Okay,
private, yeah, yeah.
I'm going to let you go on that. I'm going to let it pass then.
Thank you.
Okay. But yeah. So, no, I believe it to be completely fake. But I still enjoy it. It's a good laugh.
Well, you know, everything's manufactured to a certain degree. You know what I mean?
I
Everything.
mean, like, they're actors and it's all fake. I know that reality TV show is cookie cutter and they just create situations and film it. But I believe this show to be completely fake and it's all actors.
You think it's scripted even?
Yeah.
No, it's not scripted. I actually went on a deep dive of that to find out that it is not scripted.
Now,
Now,
where'd you
they
find that out?
do.
The official TLC website.
No, I went to several places. Even the one where, you know, it told you that they didn't have a social media presence. I even read that article. Thank you very much, Mr. Sir.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that's interesting about it is, Richard, is that again, it's not that it's a crap TV show. What is that? It's the fact that it's on TLC, the Learning
Yeah.
Channel,
I
that
know.
disappoints me. That's what's. I mean, once TLC got Honey Boo Boo, it was over.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. That was it. That was
Yeah.
it for our society. As soon as Honey Boo Boo became a thing, I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm tapping out. You know?
Is she just gone now? Is that? I mean, are they still?
I hope that she was taken into care and her parents were put in jail for the rest of their life. That's what I hope happened.
Well, I mean, I just wonder if Honey Boo Boo's going. Maybe somebody in the chat knows whether Honey Boo Boo the show is still on, because I would like to know how she's doing, or whether, you know, you just sort of exploited this family for, you know, 5 or 6 years and then just dropped them like a hot rock. You know what I mean? I mean, how cruel is that? You know what I mean? Whenever you feel like, okay, no, she's you know, obviously, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you know how it goes. Once you're on South Park episode, then it's over for me. You know what I mean? On the one hand, you've made it because you're on a South Park episode, but on the other hand, no, it's like I have no interest in it anymore. You know.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Is that because you don't like South Park or
no,
just
I love South Park.
okay?
I think South Park is one of the most funny things ever because a lot of times they predict future.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They
And
think sort of like the way, I mean, we think, I think in a similar way to them. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to say they think like me because that would be totally fucking narcissistic. But I think in the same way that they do a lot of times about these different things, and it's just, you know, as fucked up as the way they make it. You know what I mean?
right,
It's never a matter of one issue. It's always some secret issue in the background that that makes these things that weird. I don't know. But yeah, their social commentary is spot on in my
I
opinion.
love it. Yeah, I love them. They you have to
Yeah.
have kind of like a dark humor to appreciate their
Right.
particular brand of satire. But I do. I mean, I love.
Yeah,
I still watch South Park.
Yeah.
yeah, Tom. Yeah, her mother did get together with a bloke who raped one of her daughters, and I'm just
What?
like, at that point, I'm tapping out.
That happened on Honey Boo Boo?
Yeah, the mother got with somebody who diddled one of her daughters, and I'm just like, well, I realised looking like that, your options are limited, but still,
Wow. I mean,
because I like bigger women, and she was too big,
right.
and
But what I'm saying is that okay, that's irrelevant. I mean, there's an ass for every seat. I believe that. Sooner or later, you're going to find somebody who likes you and you're compatible with, and that's it. Might take you longer than you think, might take you less time than you think, but whenever the opportunity comes, grab hold of it and go with it. The thing that I'm going to say about that is they shouldn't be child molesters.
yeah,
You know, I mean, regardless of regardless of the scenario, um, I, see, I have a big problem. I mean, I don't know, man. I have a big problem with that. I just find that to be absolutely. So then on the show, were they discussing that, or was it just off the? I mean, did they discuss that on the program, or was it just sort of in the news on the side?
I think
Because
it came out after the show ended.
oh, okay. So after the show came, so they didn't discuss because I think that that would be one of those things where that would be an exploitation of a child. You know, I
The
mean,
whole show was exploitation of a
right,
child. Those
right.
child pageants are child exploitation,
100%.
and
Well,
it's not cool.
I agree with that. I agree with the fact that there's just not a lot of good that can come out of that. I just don't see what the purpose of it is. Getting these kids dolled up like that and making them look far more adult than they are. I think you're just asking for you're asking for trouble. Again, if you do if you do have a penchant for younger kids, I mean, but you need to go get help. But but the thing that I'll say about that is that that's like a weird fantasy for some very dangerous people, and I don't see the appeal in it. What does it do? I mean, what do you get out of that? That the child is um, learning to do other things. I mean, there's talent shows where you could do that. You know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
have to like put yourself in that sort of weird scenario. But it's interesting because I don't know is now, Nikki. I'm interested that. Do you think that pageants are sort of a regional thing? Like, because I can't remember the last time. I mean, I don't even know if they do that out here, in my state. I just don't know if
Are
that's
you
a
asking me if you think if I think it's a southern thing?
yes.
I would believe that it is a very southern tradition. I mean, I can't say I've never lived like way out west or anything, but it is absolutely something that southern women
Yeah,
and actually Midwesterners
right.
partake in.
Seem to do
So
it.
I would say maybe more Eastern instead of a Western tradition,
Right.
as opposed to North versus South.
Right. Well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that from a standpoint of that, some families or what some people have a heritage of, that sort of uh, debutante, where you have your
Hmm.
coming out ball, and maybe this is the sort of uh,
Poorer version of that.
yes, like the trailer park version of that.
Yeah, yeah. I can absolutely see that. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I like how you were trying to skirt around. I'm like, you just talking about poor people, man? Because is he right?
Well, I mean, what I'm saying at is, obviously people, have a. I mean, I don't think, socioeconomic parts of it should really come into it too much. But again, because John Benet Ramsey was obviously not from a poor family, and that was a very sort of wealthy Colorado family. That
Cough, cough.
yeah, I mean, it's a terrible, terrible thing that happened to that child. But again, that's one of those things where, again, you look at those pictures and she's made up like she's 20, and she's a little girl. And then I don't know. Obviously, we still don't know. Do we still not know who killed her?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
we
what?
No,
have no.
we're
I
never,
mean,
we're never
yeah.
gonna know.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's like Madeline McCann, at the very least, her parents were neglectful, even if they didn't do it.
Right. Well, it's a very. I mean, it's a sad thing where these poor wee girls get sort of, and the thing about it is that they all seem to. Not only are they killed and everything else, they all seem to be sort of, uh, you know, I don't know. I don't even want to say it. Makes me sick, brother. Makes me sick. Well, that's too bad so that's too bad, and the show's over then, and then that's it. We'll never hear from Honey Boo Boo again. Maybe we'll
Oh,
have
we
it.
will when she comes of age and
When she
either
starts making reality TV shows about how shit it was.
Yeah.
yeah,
How
or adult entertainment.
yeah.
OnlyFans, yeah.
Oh my god. Well, I mean,
There's people with a countdown, probably.
yeah.
Oh
Because
yeah,
like that Catch Me Outside girl, there was literally a countdown for when she became legal.
that's disgusting.
I know. I know.
Well, it's funny how people, whenever you get off of a television show night, you have at least sort of an option to continue on in some way. I mean, I don't think that that's a great way, but
Right.
you know, like take a look at that, like different strokes, and Todd Bridges ends up robbing a convenience store, and Dana Plato ends up being like a drugstore cowboy and dies. You know what I mean? It's just it's just weird. These kids don't ever seem to really fare well. Well, except for Scott Baio. Scott Baio did all right.
He left though. Like, what's Bayo doing? He's like, bye. Gonna live my life now.
Isn't
Thanks.
he like super Republican and like
I don't know, man.
he's against everything? I don't know.
He's against everything. When you're super Republic, you're just against everything.
Well, you are again there. You are again everything except for guns, where you're for everything.
Mm.
Feel like we're getting off topic right now.
We are getting off topic. We slid.
We
Slid.
slid into politics.
We did slide into. I apologize for that. And just so you know, I don't like Democrats any better. I'm just going to say that.
Me neither.
Right. So that's my point. That was not a one-sided comment that said, these people suck. All people suck.
Agreed.
So Richard, Hi.
Hi.
I'm into you.
I think this is a natural stopping point.
I'm into you.
I could.
I feel like this is organically.
Richard,
No, I think it's
I'm
over.
into
I
you.
think it's dead at this point in time. There's no point in
Mhm.
resuscitating it.
That's
I-
Okay,
right.
Nikki, as I've told you multiple times, if we were the last 3 people alive, I'd be trying to start a family with Kevin. All right.
Well, I'm not even gonna. You know what? I could get in a lot of trouble, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
Unless Kevin, no, I'm not. Okay, all right. Let's
Yeah.
call it right there before something bad happens.
And it's bye bye from him, and it's bye bye from us. Good night.
That'll wrap us
Good
up this
night.
week. Despite we will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from them. Good night.
Good night.